Hey, greetings fellow slinging agents in the wild. It's your trusted handler Brian welcoming you back to another episode of our Delta Green homebrew scenario, Collateral Damage, Episode 2. As always, whenever we're starting off one of these episodes, I always like to give a shout out in the intro to any one of our newest subscribers or followers on any of our social media platforms. This week, we have our newest YouTube subscriber, Chris Garnerman, creator of Basic Fantasy RPG, an awesome system that's very reminiscent of old school D&D. I don't know if any of you out there have given it a shot, but I'll tell you what, as the showrunner of Rolled Hard 20, we will be. Yep, as we prep for our next season, we'll be using Basic Fantasy RPG as that season's system of choice. So be sure to check us out. Also, as I think we previously hinted at, we're going to be revisiting some of our older Delta Green homebrew scenarios, only this time changing the roster of agents. They'll be plugged in under the header of Disavowed, meaning they won't be part of our regular timeline, but for those hard slingers that wanted to experience those scenarios, they'll now get that opportunity. So stay tuned for those. Be sure to leave us that 5-star rating and review on whatever podcast app you listen to the show on. And if you want me to give you a shout out on our YouTube channel, then head on over to Roll the Hard 20, click that little subscribe bell, and let me shout it out to you. Now, let's warm up our dice and top off our glasses. Roll the Hard 20 podcast presents Episode 2 of our Delta Green homebrew scenario, Collateral Damage. Yeah, I have no idea how many times I had to re-say that. Oh, man.
Oh, you missed the best part.
I always miss the best part, so.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
And it will continue to be so. As long as this world is continuing to turn, there will always be a 5 o'clock on the dot somewhere.
Yeah. Here's to Jimmy Buffett.
I guess. I'm just
Alan
drinking water.
Jackson song. For the listeners, we're trying to figure out how to make our drinking vessels show up on the friggin' Zoom because it keeps disappearing because we got our Delta Green backgrounds on and we're all green screened. Yeah. Except for GM Handler. He's just got his little prison cell that he's in with the bars,
like my
the
office,
guards.
though. I mean, I got an alien behind me on the wall. I got a movie poster of The Thing. I've got my Lone Wolf and my Lone Wolf
soda.
and Cub library over here, and I got
Is Lone Wolf a whiskey? Lone Wolf and Club Soda.
That's right. I'll have a
Lone Wolf and Club Soda. I love it.
We're gonna have to make that.
Yeah, all right, we'll do that.
Lone Wolf and Club Soda.
We'll do that on the weekend. You guys come out. We'll get some
Lone Wolf and Club Soda.
We'll figure that out. Yeah. So let me lead us in, and we'll go from there. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted handler, Brian, and with me, my hard slingers of yore.
It's about to get on, kids.
Episode 2 of our homebrew Delta Green scenario, Collateral Damage. Let me kind of lead us up to where we are right now. As contact was made with our 4 agents, each given new code names, and sent to Washington, D.C., where a string of what appear to be suicides might be more than they appear to be, each victim found naked with self-inflicted lacerations to each carotid artery and 2 folded $10 bills close by, the lead detective, although not understanding the symbolism behind the deaths, knew enough to know he didn't know enough. And someone over at DC Metropolitan knew enough to know to reach out to Heisenberg. At the DC Metropolitan Police Department, you met with Detective Don Ramsey, who brought you up to speed and offered to take your team to the latest crime scene and then head over to the medical examiner's office where a Treasury agent would meet with the 4 of you. However, during this conversation, Coldwell and Rice were approached by another detective, Tom Haynes, and asked if they wouldn't mind lending their experience in looking at some evidence involving the murders of 3 prostitutes. Agreeing to meet Ramsey down at the van, the 4 of you decided it would be beneficial to both investigations to divide yourselves amongst the 2 investigations. Coldwell and Rice went to assist Haynes with the murders, while Adesso and Each would go with Ramsey. Adesso and Each, you watch as Coldwell and Rice walk away towards the older detective as the elevator doors open, admitting the two of you. Pressing the brass button with a 1 on it, the doors close and the elevator begins to descend.
Okay.
Okay.
So who all is in this elevator now?
Just you two.
Okay. Because we're going down to where.
Yeah, you're going to meet up with
right?
Ramsey and
Okay.
his 3 other detectives who are waiting for you down in the parking lot.
Well, I think it looks like we're in a similar situation that we were back in old Merletown, where we're splitting up our groups and we need to come up with a good time to sync back up, because I assume we're going to find out some information that we're going to need to get to the fellow agents. I don't know if where they're going is going to have any leads for us on this, but it seems a lot less obvious just having to, or it's better to have just 2 of us doing this instead of 4 people. That's just going to call more attention to this.
Right. What we got to do is we got to keep in mind that we're supposed to obtain the medical examiner's files, and if we can, destroy the bodies. I think we should put a front that we are going to need to take the bodies with us to examine them at Quantico using our federal jurisdiction, and therefore we can eliminate anything that the locals might see, and we'll do the same with the files. So we'll ask for the files, and then we'll have the bodies transported to Quantico for further study.
Yeah, I think probably even more important than the bodies, or even potentially the records, is actually getting our hands or acquiring those folded bills, because there's obviously something off with those, and we're going to want to make sure that we get rid of those, because otherwise it's just a suicide with funny little bits of origami. But if anyone else is to be looking at these bills, there could be repercussions.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, we just take the elevator down and go meet up with Ramsey.
Okay. The elevator door opens up on the lobby floor again. You see the 2 officers once again talking at the front desk. They look at you, they kind of wave to you, acknowledging you. You make your way out to the back of the building where the parking lot is at, and you see Ramsey and his 3 men standing right beside of a white paneled van. This has windows all the way around it, though. It's got an indicator on the driver door, DC Met Police Department, with some numbers and whatnot. And he sees the 2 of you walking out, and he just kind of like indicates, yeah, we're over here. Remember, it's probably about 10:15 at night.
All right. Well, Detective Ramsey, so here we are. Where do we need to go?
Yeah, like I said, we got to go pick up Sean over at the latest crime scene. I figured we'd give you guys an opportunity to kind of take a look at it, look it over, give your peepers a fresh view on it. Maybe I'm missing something. I kind of assume that's why you Fed boys are down here right now. And as he's explaining this, he's opening up the passenger door as one of his guys gets behind the wheel. His other 2 guys get in the far back row seat, leaving the middle row seat for the 2 of you to hop in. And he's still talking. He's like, yeah, we'll spend a few minutes at the crime scene, let you guys kind of go over it. And then we got to get over to the medical examiner's office. We got to meet with the Treasury Enforcement Agent, William Dalton. And he wants to look at the monies as well. And so we'll get over there. We'll meet with Dr. Lotta, and he'll tell you all about the bodies and everything else if you need. So let's get scooting.
Okay.
All right.
The van pulls away and starts going through DC. But during this drive, Ramsey looks behind at the 2 of you and says, you know, I got to ask you agents, you're Odysseus and you're Okami.
That's correct.
Those are your names?
Yeah. Kind of worked out funny that way, didn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of funny. And then you got Omega and what was the other guy's name?
Agent Odin.
Odin, Omega, Odin, Odysseus, and Okami.
Yeah, it's funny too, because we don't normally work together all the time. But I thought it was a funny coincidence that Odysseus and I both had last names with O. And I thought for sure that with the other two agents, that there would be one that had, maybe more of a, O'Callahan or anything like that. But it seems like they got paired up too with the coincidence of O names.
Yeah, that's just really strange, fellas. I never seen something like that. It's anyways, yeah.
Can I do any kind of roll to see what he's kind of getting at? I know he's probing, kind of fishing a little bit, but is there any kind of thing that I could do for persuasion or whatever to maybe sell it home that it's not the droids we're looking for or anything like that? Is there any kind of stat?
Well, did you want to read into what he's doing, or you want to try to persuade him into something?
No, I want to see what he's kind of getting at. Do I sense his motives as being he's onto us, or do I sense he's just kind of, wow, that's really weird. You guys got some crazy names.
Well, he has an inkling, first of all, that obviously you guys are from the feds. He's not sure how you got the message to come down. He just knew that you were coming down to assist.
Mm-hmm.
He had already got word that there was going to be some federal agents that were going to be coming, lending their assistance to these crimes. He's not sure how that message got across, though.
Okay.
So you could do a Hume int on this and see if there's something that maybe he's holding back.
I'm more seeing if he's legitimately concerned because our names are so ridiculous. And, it's like, why are you all O names? Why are they all superhero names? Things like that.
Well, you can do an intuition check. You can do
an
instinct if you want. Instinct is one of your ability stats. Mm-hmm. The intuition is a skill check.
Okay. So would I do an intuition check?
You could.
To see what he's, kind of getting at. Is he really
sure, you bet.
concerned, or is he just kind of making small talk?
Yeah, go for it.
Under 70. 76, I missed.
Okay. Yeah, he seems like he's probing, but you don't know the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
If he's making small talk in this short jaunt from point A to point B.
Okay. Well, I'll after he's questioning me on that stuff, and I'll go, so Detective Ramsey, I realize having us here might be a concern for you guys, but we're here to help. We've worked many cases before, not necessarily similar to this, but we have worked with serial killing, on cases with serial killers. And if we can help, we're here to follow your lead. What would you like us to focus on when we get to the scene?
I appreciate that, agents. I'm not trying to be brash at all. I'm just trying to make a little bit of small talk here, but I'm glad you're here. We're basically in a holding pattern until, I hate to say it, until we have a fourth murder occur. Because as it stands, the clues we have, they make no sense. And that's why I'm open kimono with you guys. Whatever you guys need from me and my guys, just let me know. Be more than happy.
Do you have any theories of your own as to what's going on? Anything that may connect, now that reflecting on it, may be pertinent or relevant? Anything at all you can give us as a head start?
Potentially, what could also be, is there any sort of info that we can get that might help us intercept a fourth victim?
Well, let me see. And he pulls out a folder and he starts looking at it. He's like, well, we got victim number 3 here. And he says this as Bill, who's driving the van, pulls into this 10-story apartment complex parking lot. He's like, hold up here for a second, Bill. Let me go over this. He's victim 3, Marlo Griffin, age 32, 5 foot 10 inches, 165. Looks like he worked at the Library of Congress, not far from the White House, until he was let go due to certain indiscretions. And it looks like he was a part-time martial arts instructor as well. That's basically all we have on such a short notice. Like I said, we just started investigating the crime scene this evening.
How about victim 2?
Let's see, victim 2 here. Let's see, we got Lorraine Shaw, age 44, 5'5", 126 pounds, married, mother of 2. She lived in Alexandria, Virginia. She's an assistant to the curator at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum here in D.C. Her husband, Lonnie Shaw, found her. Seems that he got a call that the kids hadn't been picked up yet, and she couldn't be reached. He left work, got the kids, came home, and found her.
Found her at home?
Yes. So she was discovered the same way as Mr. Griffin here. Found naked, her clothes folded in a pile in the corner, serrated kitchen knife close at hand, both of her carotid arteries severed, and just like Griffin, had two $10 bills folded into triangles in front of her.
And you've had a chance to look at these. These do look like they're self-inflicted, not something that someone else would have done to them.
I haven't seen Miss Shaw's body. I just seen Mr. Griffin's body. They sent Shaw's body over to the medical examiner. They released her no problem because we told the boys over in Virginia that we had two that were very similar. They're very cordial about that. And they're like us. We just want to get this solved. But I also saw victim number one's body, Davis Archer, age 38, 5'11", 189 pounds, lived over in Channel Square Apartments. He lived alone, just broke up with his fiance. But his friend said he was taking it well, yet apparently I guess he wasn't taking it as well as his friends thought.
Has anyone had a chance to talk to his fiance, or has anyone had a chance to talk to Lonnie Shaw about his wife?
The boys over in Virginia spoke to Lonnie Shaw. Apparently he's very distraught. He can't understand. He did say that his wife was seeing somebody, a psychiatrist of some sorts. She's got a real thin medical record. Apparently she suffered from depression. Looks like something to do with after having her children. She seemed to carry it with her, and after seeing a couple of psychiatrists, both of whom were convinced she was doing better, and I guess she just lived with the depression until she didn't.
And she too had the two $10 bills folded in triangles, as with the other victims.
Yes, they were sent over with the body as well.
So we have a total of 6
bodies?
Sorry, bills.
Yes.
Okay.
You hear the driver, did somebody call me?
I will address you as William. Sorry for the confusion.
I like Bill.
All right, Billiam.
Oh, shit. Billy.
Got to get Billy to plot us a way out of this hole.
Okay.
So the van stops in the parking lot. Ramsey gets out of the van, and his 3 men follow suit, and he leads all of you through the lobby into an elevator as he continues talking about Mr. Griffin. He says, yeah, the landlord, Mr. James Gacy, found him this morning. Apparently these two like to hang out. I think they were in the same karate class. Anyways, Gacy knocked on the door several times, then used the key his friend gave him. That's when he found the body and gave us a call.
Are you trying to insinuate something, Detective?
No, I just think that Mr. Gacy was being a little evasive about our questioning. And I don't know, we're going to have to circle back around to him, see if he knows more than what he's letting on to. Or maybe if he is the perpetrator here. I don't know.
Well, maybe we can help you out with that and speak to him. Maybe if he sees a couple of big old federal agents coming up to him, that might shake him out of him trying to be a little evasive, as you said.
That would be excellent, agents. I'd really appreciate that. That would work for me. After a few moments, the elevator stops on floor 5. The doors open up, and Ramsey steps out and begins leading you down the hallway. He stops in front of apartment 505. You see the yellow tape across a closed door. He raps on the door twice and opens it. Hey, Sean, we're here. You hear from the back of the apartment a voice respond to him, say, yeah, I'm in the back, boss. I'll wait here. I'll let you two agents have a look about. He gestures as he pulls the two yellow tapes apart for you to step through.
You said this was Sean?
No, this is Ramsey.
No, the person that he was addressing back there.
Yeah, Sean.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at Marlowe Griffith's crime scene.
Marlowe Griffin.
Yeah, Griffin, thank you. All right, do we notice anything when we first walk in, anything standing out to us, given our particular... I don't want to do a search check yet. Sorry?
There's a dead body.
Oh, no, that should be gone.
Yeah, it's gone. I'm going to go ahead and describe the apartment for you, gentlemen, as you make your way through. As you first enter this apartment, you notice immediately how immaculate this place is. You see that the front room, although it's a large cube, it's got an entertainment center against the right wall, a white couch against the left wall with a glass top coffee table. You see that there's a bookshelf against the northern wall. And in the northwest corner, you see that there's a hallway that leads down the length of the apartment.
Okay. Other than it being very clean, is there anything that stands out? Is there I'm not looking to do a search check yet. What I'm trying to figure out is if there's a nuance, or not a nuance, or if there's something, an atmosphere to the place of almost like a psychic echo. You walk in and say, yeah, great violence was done here, or there's a lot of pain, or anything residual that we could just sense when we walk in, because obviously we've done a number of missions before. Do we get any read on the place, or is it just kind of devoid of anything?
Well, the entry room, you just get a feeling of it being very still, very quiet and cold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where Sean, is that your name? Is that how I should address you?
You see a tall, lanky individual in blue jeans and a flannel shirt tucked in peer from the furthest room at the end of the apartment. Kind of leans around, he sees the two of you, and he's like, hey, ho guys, let me go ahead and get out of your way. And he walks by you guys. By the way, Sean Burns, I'm with Detective Ramsey. I'm one of the guys on the team. Let me know if I could be any assistance. I'll be out in the hallway with Dawn, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Burns. Is there any information
that's
you can...
Detective.
Sorry, Detective Burns.
Yes.
Is there any information that you can give us offhand just to sort of catch us up real quick? Detective Ramsey briefed us on the way over here, but it was a quick drive. And is there maybe anything that, since you've been here, that you've new information that you may be able to impart?
No, I mean, we got the call. We came down here. We had the body removed after we checked everything out, and they just wanted me to kind of stick around and see if there's anything else going on. I mean, there's a lot of blood back there. That's all I can say. The guy basically bled out from his neck. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. Not just that this individual did this to himself, but that this isn't the only individual to have done this to himself.
Is there any signs of a struggle? And if there's no signs of a struggle, is there any signs that anyone else was here?
Not that we can tell. Honestly, we can't.
No footprints in the blood or anything like that?
As you look down at the floor, you notice that it is a real light wood paneling for the floor, and there are no blood prints at all on the floor. He's like, I don't know how anybody could have got in that room, killed this guy, and then got out without leaving some trace evidence behind it. That I don't see that. To me, by all accounts, this would qualify as a suicide. But the oddity of it, and the monies, and the way it doesn't make sense. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, I appreciate your time, Detective Burns. By the way, I am Federal Agent Okami. This is Federal Agent Odysseus.
Agents,
our pleasure to meet you.
Like I said, anything that myself or Detective Ramsey or anybody else can be of assistance, just let me know.
Okay.
Okay.
Detective Burns, do you happen to know where the landlord residence is? We may want to inquire with him on some information.
Yeah, Mr. James Gacy, he's down on the first floor. He's in apartment 107. And we had to go at him earlier. Kind of got a little stonewalled by this guy. I normally don't take kindly to that, but from my understanding, he was pretty close with the victim. And I didn't want to push it till maybe we could spend a little more quality time with him downtown, or uptown, I should say. It's half a mile away from here.
I understand. Well, hopefully we'll talk to him, and my fellow agent here is very good at extracting information from people. They almost seem to be willingly want to talk to him about it. So maybe he will be a little bit more open with us, or perhaps maybe even more intimidated if he gets confronted by two federal agents asking him questions.
That sounds like a plan.
And
Okay.
We'll keep you informed on everything that we find out.
All right. Thank you, Osami, Agent Osami, and Agent Odiphius. I'll be out in the hallway.
You got it, Barnes.
That's a Burns.
Detective Barnes.
Okay.
Fucking flexing cocks all over the place.
Kind of pulls up his pants, shows his fucking 10 millimeter on his side.
What I didn't mention was that when I shook his hand, I had some tape in my hand. So I have his fingerprints. I'm going to put them on the body.
There we go.
We'll handle this guy now. All right.
So you make your way down the hallway. You pass the kitchenette on the right, toilet on the right, and you make your way to the back of the apartment, to the lone bedroom. As you enter the bedroom, the first thing you notice is that the mattress is leaning against the far wall, blocking most of the window and its view. You see a pile of clothes that sits in the corner of the room, looking as though they've been folded with care. And in the middle of the room, there's an outline on the carpet, crimson. Next to the outline, an edged knife of Japanese style.
Well, he was a fan of the martial arts, so that seems appropriate. I wonder what the meaning of the bed up against the window is. Odysseus, was he doing something out of shame? Was he trying to hide something? Did he just want privacy? I don't know why that would matter. What? Sorry, handler. What floor are we on?
The fifth.
Okay.
I'm beginning to think he was just trying to keep it from getting bloody. Just because the clothes are folded neatly. Well, did the blood touch anything else? Any throw rugs on the floor? Anything else?
There are no throw rugs on the floor at all, but there is an unusual outline on the floor.
Okay. This outline, this isn't the tape outline, right? This is like a stained crimson silhouette.
That's correct. Yes.
A stained crimson silhouette.
Yes, but it's an odd shape.
What's the shape? It's not body shaped?
Go ahead and do a criminology check.
Okay. 24 under 60.
Nice.
The outline looks as though the individual was kneeling down.
Hmm.
And each, as you're looking at this Tonto blade and the position that the body was in when it bled out, it looks as though this individual was in Seiza.
Doing the Seiza position ritual. Maybe he was mimicking the Hara seppuku, sort of sitting there.
Yeah, but that would have been the female way of doing it, right? The ladies got to cut their throats. The men had to disembowel themselves and then
Well, this guy's named Marlowe, so maybe he did the female way.
All right, whatever. I'll leave it at.
Okay, so obviously this guy's a fan of the martial arts and maybe did it in this way. I'd be curious to see if the other people did it this way as well, or if each individual suicide, as you know, is the ultimate form of self-expression. If they each did it in a different way or whatever suited them. We'll have to remember to bring that up, Odysseus. Okay, and so the gentleman then, I assume, fell forward?
It looked like when he bled out, he just crumpled forward, but he remained on his knees.
Impressive. All right.
Okay.
Then, well, where do we go from here then, Odysseus? Obviously, it looks like a suicide, or from our expertise, suicide doesn't look like a murder.
Right. So it's probably not a suicide. There's no evidence that he folded up the origami himself, at least not yet.
We need to get those too. I don't look forward to seeing these, but we need to see these things.
Yeah. Let's do a quick run of the room, see if we find anything, journal, diary, a note. Now, I know everybody else would have said something, but let's start looking. Let's start looking in our special, unique way for the unnatural. We didn't, no, I wish we would have brought like a forensic light or something. Maybe we'd see a message in black light or something. But
a mattress would be gross.
Yeah, could be. Is there any rhyme or reason to the way the bed mattress is placed against a window?
It's just on its end, leaning up.
Got it. Well, let's do our searches and see if we come up with anything obvious, and then we'll try to figure out something not so obvious.
Is there any area on the floor that's marked off to where the triangles were placed?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you.
Can I tell where they are by any splatters?
True. I was going to say, you could see the outlines of where they were by the blood spatter that had sprayed out.
Okay. And where would those be then?
They look like they were directly in front of where the body was kneeling. One right beside the other.
Okay.
And you could see these
shoulder length. What?
I'm sorry?
Like, are they close together? Or are they shoulder length apart? Or
they're probably about 6 inches apart. They're not too far. Try to hold these up to kind of give the boys an understanding.
Basically, put them down in front of them and then did the deed. Yeah, these things are definitely something that we need to check out, because if they're at every scene and everyone's killed themselves the same way. How many cuts do you say on each body? 3?
2.
2, just on the throat, right?
Yep, 1 on each side of the throat.
Okay, I didn't know if there was the third, because maybe that would have some symbolism with a 3-sided object, 3 cuts, 2 going like this, 1 on the belly. I don't know. Okay, but there's only 2, so never mind. Okay, well, let's search. I think I'll take the closet there, area Tone. Do you want to take any kind of beds area?
My guy in search, I generally fail all of them. So, or actually, it's the alertness I got a problem. Search
I'll keep aware. You dig through the drawers.
Got it. Okay, I got to get under 30.
Where are you looking?
I'm going to look in the drawers.
And I'll hit the closet after.
Got a 21 under 30.
Well done.
Yeah, if there's something to find.
As you're digging through the drawers, you notice that all the shirts, all the socks, all the underwear, all the articles of clothing are finely folded and placed in with great care.
Are they folded the same as the other clothes he took off before he killed himself, or are those specially folded?
No, those seem like they're folded a little different.
All right, so the neat freak folds his clothes for the thing, but the ones he takes off before he kills himself are folded. They're not folded in triangles, are they?
No.
Okay.
Real quick, he goes and, or Odysseus goes and opens the other drawers throughout the apartment to see if that same level of care and precision is applied equally throughout all the belongings.
Like leaving this room and going into the kitchen and
okay. Just real quick cursory, like, okay, the clothes are very neatly and precisely laid and stored. Is this uniform throughout the place?
The fucker folded the toilet paper.
Yeah.
By squares into triangles. As you go through Odesso, you see that all the drawers are that way. All the silverware is where it should be. The pots, the pans with the lids, the cups, everything is just dialed in. If you go into the main room underneath the entertainment center, you see that all the DVDs are in order. They're alphabetized. Everything is dialed in.
Okay. So this is not unusual. And what is unusual is the way in which the clothes were folded. It is not
They're
with
different.
The same care. Is that correct?
That's what it appears to be.
Okay. Well, it's not with the same level of care, or just is it a different fold? Like, are they just haphazardly folded like I would fold my T-shirts I throw in a drawer, or?
Who's investigating that?
Oh, that would be Adesso. So he asked
Yeah.
that question.
So he comes back in and he's looking at, describe what you do with those clothes.
Okay, well, given the way that everything else was folded, neat
Okay.
precision, my guess is all the edges were lined up. Everything's folded exactly the same way. Each particular garment's taking up the same exact space in the drawer that any similar garment would take. So then Odysseus would go over and look at the clothing that was folded, which he assumed would be wearing immediately prior to his, I'm going to call it execution rather than a suicide, and sees if the corners are folded the same way, if everything matches as it would have in the drawers.
As you look at them, they appear to be like they were roll folded. You know, like when you take a shirt off, you just kind of roll it, but you try to make it look like it could be folded.
Like
Got
a burrito.
it.
But it's haphazard at best.
Got it. So it's not the same level of care and precision that's exhibited throughout the entire apartment.
No.
That would definitely show a psychic break then.
Definitely.
You know, I mean, if it was even more meticulously folded, that would also maybe show that he's focused and making his last thing done, but making his last thing perfect. But if he's just rolling it up, it's like maybe he's not all there. Maybe these, I don't know, whatever power these bills have or something, maybe it was causing him to lose sanity or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
I mean, you have to be nuts to kill yourself, right?
from what you could tell, it looks like shirts, pants, undergarments, socks, and they're all stacked.
Well, as Odessa goes through that stuff, I'm going to check out the closet, and basically I have the little, you know, COVID gloves on or whatever, so I don't leave fingerprints and all that. And I'm going to be just going through and checking each. Well, first of all, is the closet pretty neat and minimal in appearance, or is it just jam packed with shit?
No, not at all. It's very feng shui.
Okay.
You just got a few shirts, a few slacks in there, a few jackets, but they're all evenly spaced. It definitely looks like great care was taken with not just his clothes, but all of his personal effects throughout the whole apartment.
Okay. I'd like to take a look at some of the clothes that, you know, if there's some business suits and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to hold off on those, and I want to search the things that he would be normally wearing first. If I can tell that, you know, like regular clothes or sweatshirts, hoodies, that sort of thing. And then I'll save if he has a tuxedo or a formal wedding kimono. I'll hold off and first and check out the day-to-day stuff.
Okay. Describe for me how you're going through. You don't have to roll anything. Just tell me what you want to do.
I'd like to take sort of each one off the rack and go through the pockets, go through things like that, and just see what I can find. Probably not feeling under collars or anything like that, but just checking out if what a guy would do is putting stuff in his pockets and all that sort of stuff. So I want to do.
And you see a lot of that stuff in there too. You see there's some loose coins, some loose dollar bills. You see receipts from fast food places. You see bank teller receipts. You see, you know, a spare key to the apartment. Just stuff like that.
Is there any particular pattern? Well, in the receipts for food places, is there a repeated pattern? Like, oh yeah, he eats there 3-4 nights a week. He eats there once a month. I mean, depending upon how many receipts we have to use as a comparison, do we notice any pattern?
There's not too many. There's 11 of them. I guess that is quite a bit. But if you start digging through all the pants, but you see that there's really no pattern. It does look like he eats probably the same thing every couple of days from what you're looking at.
Good. Do I see an empty hanger where his last pair of pants that he wore? Is there an empty hanger in there?
Ironically, there would be.
Yeah, I figured with such a neat freak, that's a little sad right there. Okay, and then so anything else in there of note? Have I swept the closet of the clothes and all that?
Yeah, from what you found, like I said, you've got a pile of receipts. You've got some loose change, bill wise.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what about things like a laptop or his cell phone? Is his cell phone there? Is it in the clothes that? I don't know if they've checked the folded clothes, but is the phone in the clothes?
Yeah, Odessa was looking through the clothes, but
did you find a phone?
Remember, we found out that they were roll folded. I don't want to disturb them because I'd rather have the forensics guys do that. But
we're not worried about that,
just
are
a
we?
quick
Though?
pat down. Would I feel any lumps like a phone? Obviously, a phone or something in there.
Yeah, you do feel something that feels kind of oblong between the shirt and the pants.
Okay.
In fact, you feel two things.
Oh my.
Yeah. All right. Deso will take them out.
Okay. You remove the shirt and you notice that there's a phone on top of the pants. And the second oblong item is a wallet still tucked in the back pocket of the pants.
Okay. Take that out too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to check those out. And then, out of game, I don't think Okami or Odysseus would really be too worried about preserving things for forensics. We're not going to rely on what they tell us. We have to find out the information ourselves.
Yeah.
So we can rifle through the stuff and fold it back up if, we need to.
Yeah.
Like we need to find information on this guy and, check
good point.
emails, check phone records, take screenshots of all those numbers. Maybe there's a recurring number or a number that's only been, a few times on his phone. Maybe he's getting calls from someone. I don't know.
All right, let's check the phone out. Is it still charged?
It has
Roll high.
68% left to the phone.
Okay, cool. Is it locked? And if it is locked, we don't have his fingerprint or anything, do we?
Why don't you give me a luck check?
A luck check. All right. Straight up D20, man.
Roll that hard 20.
Roll that hard 20. Yep. Hit the floor without a care in the world.
Why would it not? This is the same pattern since we were 16 years old. Where's the hammer? You going to smash it?
No, I hit the floor with it. I dropped it. Okay, I got a 19.
Hey. 19.
The
phone is not locked.
The phone is not locked.
Well, he's not married.
Okay.
There's no reason to have it locked,
All right, well, we'll take a look at it and what were his last couple phone calls?
There were different phone calls, local numbers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're looking through it, you notice that he recently received a text. And it looks like it came in right around the time of death.
Oh,
what does it
fucking,
say?
The trigger thing or whatever, What's that one, man? Like Manchurian Candidate thing? They call it, hey, the winter is cold in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it say?
Yeah, what does it say?
There's just a link.
It's a link.
There is a link.
Okay, now this is a little more intriguing. Deso brings it over to Okami. Says, hey, my friend, this is rather strange. Our guy received a text just before the approximate time of his death, and it's not it's not a message. It is a link to something else.
I wonder if the other victims' phones or laptops have also received something like this.
Is there any way to tell if he opened the link?
That'd be purple.
Yeah.
It is purple.
So he did open the link.
Open up his browser. It still might be up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So you navigate through the phone. We're going to say for the sake of our listeners that he's using an iPhone. That way they could mentally follow along.
That's good, because if it was an Android, I wouldn't date him.
Well, maybe Jim Gacy might. So you go through and you see that the link switches over to the Safari and it pops up 404 not found page.
All right, I'll go back to the text and press on the link.
It goes back to Safari again and it populates again 404 not found page.
What's the what's the website address or whatever it is if it's a website?
It's a run-on https : / and then a whole slew of garbled.
Looks like the pi number.
Gotcha. Now, is it a website or is it an image? If it's an image, I can check his photos to see if he saved it.
So you want to see if he what? If
Well,
he
we know he
saved it
went-
as a photo, okay, you can go into
Yeah,
photos.
Careful when looking through his photos, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a sand check.
Yeah, really. You open the photos. Sand
You open the
check.
photos and you go through and you see that, you know, he's got pictures of dogs and cats and him without a shirt on. You see pictures of the skyline, him and some other buddy of his drinking wine, having a, you know, smiles on their face, enjoying life. But you don't see anything abnormal that would be like a screenshot of something.
Okay.
Now, I know that pictures don't necessarily convey the reality of the person, but just by those pictures, seems like he was generally happy. You know,
Might
has
even say
pets,
he
has
was-
friends, has.
Yeah,
No.
not the kind of guy that's ready to commit suicide.
Okay, so yeah, this is all leading that there's some kind of there's definitely something happening here that's causing it, and I wouldn't be surprised if the other victims were found similarly, you know, in their position of death potentially, and with the bills placed the same with phones that have dead links to it. We need to find out about those phones and laptops from them too, because that would be the thing tying everything together, and we could proceed from there.
All right, so he received a message just before death. Anything interesting in his email?
No. Nothing of interest, really. Like nothing that was sent in to him.
Just
other than like coupons or GameStop or,
All right.
you know.
Well, here, I can't believe I didn't ask the obvious question. Who was the sender of the texts?
It's some odd number. It's like an 800 number.
So it doesn't show up in his contacts?
No, it does not.
Well, we'll be cataloging. I'll be taking pictures of anything like the numbers or the link and that kind of stuff, just so we don't get zinged for forwarding it to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, how about all right, Odysseus tries to call it.
It just
Oh,
goes
look at
through
you.
one of those doo-doo-doo.
We're sorry. The number you reached has
The
been
line
disconnected.
you're
It was
trying to
no longer
call
in
has been
service.
disconnected and is no longer in service.
All right. Okay, so that's a dead end. We'll just copy down the number, though, just to see if it shows up anywhere else. And, okay, so...
And I'll make sure that I also take photos with my phone of the outline of the, you know, the kneeling position, the clothes folded and all that. So we have it easily accessible. I don't know if they're going to give us copies of these reports or not. So even
we're
if they
supposed
did,
to
I'm
get
going
them
to
and
take
then
our own.
destroy them, so we'll wind up...
Right.
But in order for us to do our complete due diligence, for us to find out what's going on. All right, let's take a look through the wallet. Anything in there?
Yes, there is actually. There's credit cards, driver's license, and there's a withdrawal slip that looks like it was made earlier in the day.
Earlier that day. How much was it for?
$20.
Yeah, there we go.
We have an address for a bank. $20. How interesting. And we have an
Yeah.
address for a bank.
It was at First Colonial Bank here
Now,
in
is this an
DC.
ATM or did he go in?
Looks like it was a actual point where he went in.
Yeah.
Most
can't
ATMs
get
don't give
10.
receipts.
Yeah, and you can't get tens, I don't think, out of ATMs.
Yeah. Okay, so
When, sorry, Odysseus, what time did he go to the bank?
Looks like he went in probably about 2:30 in the afternoon.
And the death was at what time with the text?
Looks like about 5.
Okay, well,
anything else in his wallet? Business cards of any kind or any other contact thing?
No, looks like he's got like a rough card that has his name on it. It says American Karate of USA. And it just looks crumpled. It's got his name on it. Probably like his only business card of what he probably taught as an assistant instructor.
Any random numbers on the backs of any of these things? Like
No.
phone numbers are okay, because that could be a thing that he was hiding from his phone or something. I don't know. Okay. Well, I think I think we should figure out, well, one, finish up what we're doing here, look for any more loose ends or look for clues. But I need to see the information on these other suicides as well and see if they line up, see if their phones have the same link that's now dead.
Gotcha.
And we got to figure out how to track that. I don't know if talking with Heisenberg can help with out, or if we can sync up back again with Omega and Odin. You know, Rice has those computer skills that we could definitely use. That he would actually be helpful right now here on there. But you know, they're doing their stuff too. Hopefully, they'll find some leads there that can help us out.
Okay. Before we leave, because we're pretty much done here, do you get a sense of this place? Sense of the crime scene? Anything?
Like in what way?
You tell if something's been here, something unnatural, leaving a residue behind that you may be able to be in touch with given your unique condition. You smell anything?
You know what I mean? A lot of garlic and anisette. Mr. Italian.
There you go.
I definitely don't need to know, or I definitely don't need to, have an extra sensory ability to figure out something is definitely odd here. But is there any sort of, I don't know, feeling or like Adesso said, smell that I can pick up anything, information? Like, did this person, this is a far ask, was this person desperate and in fear when he did this, or was he in a zone and like a zealot killing himself gleefully? Like, is there any way I could pick up some sort of perception of that, or is that completely impossible?
Or maybe you could smell that there were two people there or something.
Yeah. Well, you could infer from what you've already observed, the way that the clothes were folded in the corner, the way that he had killed himself, and the way that the rest of the house is set up, that this individual looked desperate. Like the rest of the house seems very organized.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he took off his clothes and just haphazardly folded them, that is completely out of character of this individual from what you can tell from the rest of his house. The man looked like he was on his last moment. It was probably all he could do to get the clothes folded, to at least fall back on something that he knew.
Yeah.
Even though it's like he was probably trying to get him off as quick as he could, but his internal wiring was like, you have to fold them.
Yeah.
And this was as best as he could get it before he kneeled down. With the mattress being against the wall, partially covering the window, it was probably something out of pride. Probably trying to keep something.
Shame.
Yes.
I get that. Like he's hiding it because.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I was getting at with the window earlier. Was it? Okay. Yeah. Well, if everything's nice and neatly folded and his other stuff is just fucking carry-on bag, shirt roll in the airplane, flying off for the weekend, then he was just on his last sort of things. He wasn't in his normal mind. So it has to be something to do with that text and them $10 bills, y'all.
You hear a voice coming from the front of the apartment. Sounds like Detective Ramsey. Hey, you boys ready to get going?
Yes, I believe that we've seen all we need to see here.
Yeah, we gotta hook up with the medical examiner next session. So let's get a roll on. Whoa! Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is definitely ramping up.
Receipts from, I don't even know.
In-N-Out Burger.
I don't think they have that there.
Popeyes.
He's not black.
Yeah,
there's your blooper. Well, you see receipts. Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora Radio, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, be sure to leave us that 5-star rating and review. Don't forget about our YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20. So if you're into watching and you want to help support the show, then head on over and hit that subscribe button. It really does help the show out. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted over there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next time, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.